Nope, nope, nope.
I follow Steve Harris. So I follow Steve Harris on Facebook because I'm a data analyst. That's what pays my bills. But then again, for my personal stuff, I'm a career and academic coach.
Okay.
So I was looking out for people of like mind on Facebook to follow because I don't like following mindlessly people. So that was how Steve Harris came up on the radar. I saw a couple of things he did. I also saw the TEDx talk he had the last was it last week or so? So I think it was after that I saw this advert and then felt okay to tune in and see what's going on. Like you said, sell better, earn better. We all have something we are selling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's selling a commodity or you're selling your skill for money. So there has to be something. I hopefully this event would be fruitful. So thank you.
Hopefully. Thank you so much, Chidima. I really, appreciate you speaking in or calling in. We appreciate that. So thank you so much and nice to meet you. We have some other people. Do we have people who are brave enough to speak up like Chidima? Bukola, are you willing to go? Let's see. We have okay, we have Bukola. Bukola is from listening in from Lagos. And we have Lami, who is on iPhone, listening in from Lagos too. Um, I know Tonya is listening in from Abuja, and thank you all so much. Um, just a few minutes, we'll be having our guest speaker join us. I really don't like to take the facilitators or speakers' time, so um, we will just take a few more tiny minutes and then have him come up. Yeah, so we have someone just joined now, but yeah, so our speaker for today, his name is Steve Harris. So Steve Harris is a renowned coach, an amazing consultant. He has worked with multiple companies in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the US. He has spoken on lots of global platforms, even recently on TEDx, on Kajabi, on MasterCard, on MTN, just to mention a few. So having Steve Harris here will be an amazing experience for us. And, he's going to be teaching and he's going to be sharing his slides. If you notice, I'm just speaking, I'm not reading from anywhere because I've known Steve Harris for a bit. And so I followed and I know of his achievements and all of that. So I can speak to it that you're listening to someone who, has mentored and has coached a lot of top names out there that I don't want to mention for confidentiality purposes. And also because Steve Harris is the CEO of Education. He's also the CEO of the Steve Harris Company, and he's also a director on board of director on multiple organizations. So we have someone who has massive experience with sales, with marketing. So we are in good hands. So I would say, people, if you can, with a whoop whoop or with a clap clap or with whatever, please welcome Steve Harris as he joins us and he shares. He's going to teach us, and we're going to have enough time to ask questions. Please, guys, welcome the amazing Steve Harris.
Hello, everyone. Good American morning. I hope you guys are well. Woo woo. I see you, Jane. How are you? Thank you so much for joining, everyone. It's for me, it's always quite. Oh, okay. I see myself. So for me, it's always quite a privilege and honor to be here and be a part of it. Business conversations, and I'm really in a bit of a hurry because I prepared a presentation. So I'm really feeling for those who perhaps are not going to join us because I don't think we should make this conversation available to those who didn't join us. So that's their punishment for not joining us. So anyway, I'm ready to begin. Please, could you give me access to share my screen? Okay, yes, I see I have it. All righty. So I'm going to go straight into the conversation. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can, simply just type yes. Please let me know. I'm actually not looking at the comments. So, okay, I can see Gold. Hi, Gold.
We
Okay,
can
yes.
see your screen.
All right, cool. Thank you. Okie dokie. So let me minimize everybody else's video so I'm not distracted. Okay. Meeting is being recorded. Okay, cool. All right, fantastic. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. I'm going to make this really short and sweet. I hope you can take notes. After this, we will be opening the floor for questions. So as you know, my name is Steve Harris. So welcome to the webinar. All right, let's get into this. Okay, now all of us are, well, I would assume most of us are entrepreneurs. And even if you work in an organization, you are also selling something. So the fact that you're selling something is not limited to the fact that you own a business. You could be an employee and you're selling something, right? You could be an entrepreneur, you're also selling something. But one of the difficult things that I find that most entrepreneurs and executives have is being able to target their customers, being able to find the right customers. You know, you might have a job or you might be an executive and you're looking for a job. Sometimes the challenge is, how do I target the right customers? In this case, the organizations that should see your gifting and your ability and hire you on the spot. That's pretty hard to do sometimes. How do you, as an entrepreneur, target the people who have your money and choose you? You know, because there's competition, irrespective of what you sell. You've got so much competition. How are you able to target the customers that see you, resonate with you, and ultimately buy from you? And that's what I'm going to be teaching today, how you can sell better to earn better. One of the biggest challenges I find that most entrepreneurs struggle with is being able to get your money out of the pockets of your customers. If you resonate with that, just simply, type yes. I know I can't see it at the moment, but just, drop a comment. Getting your money out of the pockets of the customer can be very, very hard because these guys have your money, right? Have you ever experienced, or maybe you've done this before, where you went shopping, in this case, maybe window shopping, and you walked into a store, you looked around, you looked around, you looked around, you didn't buy anything. Maybe you were intimidated by the price or whatever. Maybe they didn't have what you want. And you literally went to the store next door or right across the street selling the exact same thing, and you bought from that business. Why did you do it? Or if you're an entrepreneur, you realize that you're selling something and then people didn't buy from you, and then they went right across the street and they bought from your competitor. Why didn't they buy from you? What was it about the competitor that made the customers reach into their pockets, reach into their wallets, bring out their credit cards or pay cash to do business with this competitor rather than doing business with you? If you're able to understand this, it will ultimately affect how you sell. So let's get into this, shall we? The first thing you need to recognize is that selling is about persuasion. Selling is about persuasion, right? Selling is about persuasion. How are you able to persuade the customer? Now, persuasion isn't speaking big English. Persuasion isn't using a multiplicity of words. Persuasion is about, and if you check it out on the screen, I wrote that it's not about persuading people to buy what you sell. It's about persuading them to buy what they want that you happen to sell. I'm going to say this again. I need to repeat this for emphasis. I feel a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of businesses, even a lot of executives feel that what they're supposed to do is to convince people to buy what they sell. So I have this, I don't know if you can see it on the screen because I can't see myself at the moment, but I have this AirPods Max that I wear. And Apple did not do too much work, so to speak, to persuade me to buy this. They didn't say, oh, come on, buy this, come on, buy this, come on, buy this, right? What they did was they persuaded me to buy what I wanted that was reflected in what they were selling. I'm going to teach you about this, so stay with me. So persuasion, the key to selling effectively is not about persuading people to buy what you sell. It's about persuading them to buy what they want that you happen to sell. Don't worry, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. All right. So as an entrepreneur, you've got to be like a chameleon. As an executive, you've got to be like a chameleon. You've got to learn how to adapt. You've got to learn and understand the emotional environment that causes people to buy from you. You've got to understand the emotional environment. Selling is not a logical process, it's an emotional process. Have you ever bought something that was so expensive? You knew it was expensive. You couldn't justify logically why you wanted to buy it, but you knew emotionally you just had to have it, right? Maybe after you paid for it, your brain came on and you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I spent all that money, but it was worth it for you. Logically, it didn't make any sense because you had bills to pay, you've got rents to pay, you've got school fees, you've got something else competing for that money. But the moment you saw that item, something inside of you was like, listen, I got to have it. I don't care. I want it. I need it. I've got to have it, right? And I'm going to teach you how to do this, okay? Now, remember that I said at the beginning, when I went right here, I said it's selling is about persuading them to buy what they want that you happen to sell. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper, which is now the second point. Check this out. If I don't see me in what you sell, I am not going to buy from you. If I don't see me in what you sell, I'm not going to buy from you, right? So what you sell must be a reflection of who I am or who I want to be. I'm going to say this again. I'll go to the previous slide again. What you sell must be a reflection of who I am or who I want to be. Let me go back to the previous slide. I'll say this again, okay? Now, I said before, if I don't see me in what you sell, I'm not going to buy. I have to see myself in what you're selling, right? I'm going to explain. What you sell must be a reflection of who I am or who I want to be. Now, let me explain this, and I'll give another example shortly. Everything you have, everything you own, everything you've bought with your money, right, is at the moment a reflection of how you see yourself or a reflection of how you want to be. Okay, I'm going to explain this again. Everything you own, everything you've purchased with your money is a reflection of either how you see yourself or how you want others to see you. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I have an, okay, let me use my AirPods Max, all right? Let me use my AirPods Max. No, I won't use this because this was a gift. I didn't buy this, so this was a gift. Let me use my phone, okay? So I've got an iPhone 14 here, okay? Now, what is the purpose of a phone? Basically to communicate, right? The purpose of a phone is to, receive calls, send messages, basically for communication, end of story, right? But an iPhone 14, I think the more recent one is the 15, right? So the iPhone 15 is about $1,500, give or take. I could be wrong with the numbers, but let's assume it's $1,500. Is the person buying the iPhone because they want to talk better? I've never seen it advertised that if you buy the iPhone 15 or the Samsung or whatever phone it is, you're able to talk better on the phone. Like your communication is going to be clearer. People will hear you louder. Do you get what I'm saying? I've never seen anyone who's gone to the Apple store to buy a phone and they ask the question, oh, how many text messages can I send on this phone? Because the primary reason for the phone is for communication, isn't it? No one has ever asked, have you ever asked, oh, how many text messages can I send? Because that's the primary reason for the phone. You don't ask that question. You don't ask the question, oh, how many calls can I make on this phone? You don't ask that. You don't care about it. But the primary reason you buy this is to communicate, isn't it? Yes. But guess what? The real reason you buy this is because it's a reflection of how you see yourself, right? It's a reflection of how you see yourself. It's a reflection of status. Okay, so when you buy the iPhone 15 as an example of the Samsung or whatever phone you use, you buy it because you want to be positioned and appreciated as someone who has value, someone who can chill with the big boys, someone who's incredibly wealthy as well, because the big boys or the big girls use the iPhone 15. Therefore, you are in the company of big people. You're in the company of successful people because most successful people use the iPhone 15. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everything you've bought is a reflection of how you've seen yourself. When I walk around with the AirPods Max, right, I'm not walking around with it because, oh, I want to hear sound better. No, it's my ego right? It's pride. It's my ego. I want to be looked at as a big boy. Like, Steve is one of the latest ballers. He's carrying AirPods Max, so his car, all the things that I have are a reflection of how I see myself and how I want to be. And your job as an entrepreneur or an executive is to teach people or to show people, right, how they can see themselves in what you're selling. So I'll give you a real practical example, all right? And it's a story of what I call a 600 grand mirror, right? I bought this mirror. This is when I was living in my home in Nigeria. And I bought this mirror. It's a mirror, guys. It's just a mirror. It's shaped in the map of Nigeria, all right? It's just a simple mirror, but I spent 600,000 naira on this mirror. It's made of glass. It doesn't tell my future. It doesn't tell my destiny. I don't know squat. It's just a mirror. Now, why would I spend 600 grand on a mirror? Very simple. I had seen this mirror for the very first time with my mentor, Fela Adurotoye. He has this exact same mirror in his home. And um, you know, every time people would come into his home, they're like, "Oh my God, you really must be a patriot. Like, you must really love Nigeria for you to have a mirror that's literally shaped in the image of Nigeria." So it was a great conversation starter. Subconsciously, I was like, "Oh my God, I want people to give me the same regard as they give my mentors. So one day when I have money, when I grow up, one of the things that will prove that I'm equally successful is that I have this mirror also in my home." Long story short, I reach out. Now, all this time, I didn't know how much the mirror cost. I just thought it was cheap. So eventually I had some money and I reached out to the guy who, designs these mirrors. And he knew me well. And I was like, "Yo, bro, I want to buy this mirror. I want to make this mirror. How much is it going to cost?" And at the time he told me it was about 800,000 naira. I was like, "Dude, like what?" Like, I thought this is like 100 grand. He was like, "No, it's like 800K." Now, immediately he told me the price. I was like, "Okay, arrivederci, Auf Wiedersehen. I can't afford it. You know what? Forget I said it. It's not worth that to me." Right. So as I was backtracking, he was like, "Listen, Steve, first off, I don't make this mirror for anyone. You can't just buy this mirror off the shelf for me." He said to me, "I've only made 10 of these mirrors." Right. And he began to list the clientele, three of which included former and at the time a previous presidents, Nigerian presidents. So he had made it for three Nigerian presidents. He had made it for four highly sought after, or should I say, very influential pastors. Right. He had made one for Fela, who was also, who later became a presidential candidate. So he'd made it for like three presidents, four pastors, two business leaders, and so on and so forth. And I was going to be like the 10th or the 11th one. So the moment he told me that these are the people he's bought it, he's made it for, he said, "Listen, Steve, you're not buying a mirror, you're buying into national pride. And if you buy this mirror, what you're really paying for is you're joining an exclusive," this is the way he said, "you're joining an exclusive fraternity of national and global leaders who believe in Nigeria. This is not for anyone. You have to be someone who's truly nationalist, right? And if you do purchase this, you're joining an exclusive fraternity of national and global leaders who truly believe in Nigeria." Who doesn't want to be a national or global leader? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm like, that's who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, eventually he gave me a discount and I paid 600 grand for a mirror, right? It doesn't tell my debt. It doesn't make me look prettier than I am. I can't tell my future in this mirror. It's just 600 grand, really expensive, right? But every time people would come into my home, they would say the same thing. "Oh my God, you really must be a patriot, yada, yada, yada." And it was such a great conversation starter. Now, what did he sell me a mirror? No. He didn't tell me, "Steve, come and buy the mirror." He said, "This is who you are. This mirror is for people like this. So if you are a person like this, you will buy a mirror like this." Do you understand what I'm saying? So persuasion isn't telling people to come and buy what you sell. It is telling people to come and buy what they want, which is reflected in what you sell. Do you get what I'm saying? So everything you purchase is a reflection of either who you are or who you want to be. Are you with me so far? Moving on. Now, getting a little bit deeper. If you want to get people to buy, on one hand, you can sell to their sense of fear. What are they running away from? And I'm going to explain. What do I mean sell to their sense of fear? You got to make your customers feel bad for not buying from you. I gotta say this again. You've got to make your customers feel bad for not buying from you. Now, I'm not saying name them and shame them. I'm not saying disregard or abuse them. Absolutely not. I'm saying show them what they stand to lose if they don't buy from you. Show them what they stand to lose if they don't buy from you. Now, as an entrepreneur or an executive, I think we're very conversant with the word value. We talk about value, value, value. And value to most entrepreneurs or most executives is this is what you stand to gain if you hire me, right? To an executive, value is, oh, this is what you stand to gain if you hire me. To an entrepreneur, this is what you stand to gain if you buy from me. But that's just the elementary definition. The true definition of value, the true worth of value is this is what you stand to lose if you don't hire me. This is what you stand to lose if you don't buy from me. That's the true worth. So if you don't buy from me, what do you lose? What do you lose? So let's say, I'll give you an example as we go along. I don't want to preempt my slides. What do you lose if you don't buy from me? If you don't understand that, if you can't communicate that, then you don't understand your value. As an employee, as an executive, you're, trying to get a better job or trying to get promoted, and you must answer the intrinsic question, what do I lose? If I lose nothing, you're worth nothing. If I lose a lot, you're worth a lot. That is the true. I mean, think about it this way. For those of us who are Nigerian and perhaps who live in Nigeria, the American visa is incredibly valuable, isn't it? Why is it valuable? Because number one, you pay the money for registration, but the process of getting the visa is like, getting a camel to go through the eye of a needle. People fast and pray to get an American visa. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the denial rates are so high, right? And you know that the moment you get an American visa, oh my God, you feel like you're in the promised land. You know the worth of the visa. When they deny you, they give you that white paper. I think it's a white paper, or I don't know what color. I think it's a white or blue paper. When they give you that slip and you don't get it, you feel hurt. You are in pain. You cry. You are angry. But there are some other visas that if you don't get it, like next, I'll apply next time now. You must make your customers feel bad for not buying from you. Let's go a little bit deeper. So that's selling to their sense of fear. The next way you can do it is to sell to their sense of fantasy, right? Sell to their sense of fantasy. What is their deep, dark desire? What is their deep, dark desire? I hope you're taking notes, guys. I'm hoping that you have questions by the time I'm done, right? So please, take notes, take notes, take notes. All right. What is their deep, dark desire? Now, check this out. Now, in order to sell fantasy, you've got to learn how to start selling what I call status products with other benefits. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. In order to sell fantasy, you've got to start selling status products that have other benefits. And I'm going to explain, all right? This thing that I'm teaching you in 30 minutes, usually it takes me about 2 days in a masterclass to teach this properly. So please forgive me. I'm not going to be able to go deep down because education is not paying me for this charity work that I'm doing. So I can only give you the basics, all right? So start selling status products with other benefits. Now, check this out. These are Christian Louboutin shoes. These are red bottom soles. Most women, I believe every woman has had in some, maybe at the beginning of her life or whatever, has had the fantasy of owning Christian Louboutin shoes because the red bottom soles are so iconic. They're so iconic and they communicate a message without talking. Do you get what I mean? Like the shoes do the talking so she can do the walking. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I need to say that again because it was so good, right? A woman who's wearing Christian Louboutin red bottom soles feels like her shoes are doing the talking while she just does the walking, right? Now, when she wears red bottom soles, right, it communicates a message to every other woman. I'm not in your weight class. I'm a different kind of girl, right? I'm on the 1%. I'm not some regular chick. Now, guess what? Does Christian Louboutin say, hey, guys, when you buy these shoes, you will walk 2.5 times faster, right? Or it's so comfortable. These shoes ain't comfortable, right? They don't sell it because it's comfortable. They don't sell it because, oh, you can walk faster. Or they don't sell it and they say, oh, you'll be taller when you wear them. No, they just sell you the image that when you buy these shoes, every other woman is going to take notice, and every other woman's man is going to take notice, right? So when you wear the shoes and you sit down and you cross your leg and you put your heel facing forward, every other woman who walks past you will see that you've got red bottom soles. So they're selling a status product that just happens to have motion or walking benefits. So these are status products, which is why they're so expensive. Do you get what I'm saying? Harvard University. Name the top 3 universities in the world. Harvard is always going to be among them, right? Harvard doesn't say that, oh, if you go to Harvard University, you will graduate in 3 years, or our curriculum is fantastic. They don't say none of that stuff, right? They tell you things like, oh, in Harvard, Harvard has matriculated 3 US presidents, 15 US senators, 4 of the world's Fortune 500 CEOs have matriculated from Harvard. Our network of our alumna consists of 3 United States Supreme Court justices, 4 prime ministers. That's what they communicate. So Harvard is a status product that has education benefits. So when you go to Harvard, people don't say, oh, I went to Harvard. Oh, the course was so fantastic. Oh, the course was great. I liked the way the lecturers taught. The professors were made. They don't care about that. It was like, no, I went to Harvard. I am a 1%er. I am a 1% of the 1%. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg was my friend. Where we took the same classes. Well, we're in the same Skull and Bones fraternity. It's an education product with status benefits. As I'm teaching you this, I want you to think about what you sell, either as an entrepreneur or either as an executive, and say, how am I positioned? How are people perceiving me? Right? You know that if you have a Harvard degree on your resume, you're very likely you'll be like first draft for any recruiter. They're going to look at your son like, oh, he went to Harvard. You know what? Let's put him to the side. This is an exception. Do you get what I'm saying? And you can't just get into Harvard. You've got to be referred by somebody who's in Harvard. Do you get what I'm saying? And that person has, the process is plenty, but the value, remember what we said about value. Value is not about what you stand to gain. Value is about what do you lose if you don't have me. Do you get what I'm saying? All right, moving on. So I said it's a status product with educational benefits. Okay, so give you an example. I was teaching this, and I think I tweeted this or whatever. I shared it on my social media one day, and I gave an example that, like for fashion designers, right? They usually think that, it's just about it's about the fabric. It's about no. What you sell is attention dressed in fabric, right? When the woman buys the dress, she's buying attention. It just happens to be clothed in fabric. If she buys the dress and no one notices her, did she buy the dress? She didn't get a dress. You know what I'm saying? Why do you spend so much time watching things like the Met Gala or prior to the Oscars? They're always asking, oh, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing? What are they communicating? They're communicating attention. That's why if you notice at the Met Gala, somebody can dress like a pumpkin for goodness sake, right? It's not about the dress, it's about attention. The person can dress like a friggin' pumpkin. The person can, I think there was something that Rihanna wore once at a Met Gala. It looked like she was wearing like a scrambled egg. The dress was long. It looked like it had egg yolk, and it looked like a fried egg, for the lack of a better term, right? And guess what? What's the purpose? So that, the dress is fine and comfortable. No, people wear the clothes. She wore the clothes to be seen. So let's listen to what I said. You sell attention dress and fabric. People wear your clothes to be seen. If they're not seen, it means your clothes make them invisible. I hope this makes sense. And please understand, even though I'm talking about fashion in this example, think about what it is you sell, either as an executive or an entrepreneur, right? What are you really selling? Okay, give you another example, right? I spoke to those in the hair business, people who sell hair. They sell bone straight wigs and all these other types of weaves and stuff. I said, what you sell is hair that turns heads. right? So a lot of people generally when they're selling hair, they put, they put the hair on mannequins, they put the hair on the table and they're just brushing it. And I said, that's not what people buy. Show me the attention, show me the jealousy I'll get when people see me wearing my hair. Do you air me? Do you get what I'm saying? Show me the jealousy that when people see my hair, they're like, oh my God, your hair's so fine. Where did you get it? If they don't have that response, when you wear your bone straight hair or whatever wig you wear or whatever weave you wear, that means the hair you sell has made them invisible. What they truly want is hair that turns heads. That's fantasy. I hope this is making sense, right? Give you an example, right? So bakers, this was an example. I said, your cakes may be delicious, but we can't tell by your pictures. You can't taste a delicious cake, right? The cake has to be what I called edible masterpieces disguised as cakes, right? And I wrote here, we don't want boring cakes. Stop selling Nailed It cakes to Sugar Rush customers. There's a show, there are two shows on Netflix called Nailed It and Sugar Rush. Nailed It is for it's a reality show where the people who can't cook, like they make the ugliest goddamn cakes ever, right? And they give them a design and say, oh, this is the design that we want you to make. And they just take these random everyday homeowners or everyday people to try to replicate what they see, and it's the most ugliest thing. So, whatever. But Sugar Rush customers, the show in Sugar Rush, it's it's artistic creativity, right? These guys are like Michelangelo or they're like Leonardo da Vinci of cakes. They're like Raphael, they're like Donatello, they're like Van Gogh. The kind of designs that they make, they're like Buddy Valastro, right? No, I remember watching a series on YouTube once called Cake Boss. I'm sure some of you may have heard of it before. And there's this guy in New Jersey, Buddy Valastro. And I remember in the series, the episode that I watched, NASA, the space, enterprise, reached out to Buddy Valastro. They were celebrating, I think, their 70th year anniversary or something like that. And they wanted Buddy to make them a cake and make them a cake. And he made them a cake that was designed as a rocket because NASA is a space station. He made them a cake designed as a rocket. And it wasn't just designed as a rocket. The cake was flying. And I don't mean like flying, flying, flying. It had like rocket propulsion. So there were flames under the cake. The cake didn't blow up, right? It had a countdown sequence. You would hear 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they would do boom, and then you would see that the flickers and flames underneath the cake as though it was rising. And they made it rise because they had an extension of the cake that like a lever that would make the cake go up, and then you would see fire. That's what they're buying, attention. Now, if you don't buy that cake from Buddy, what do you lose? You will lose the attention, you will lose the notoriety, you will lose the communication, you will lose the fact that everybody was talking about you, and you just go to Instagram and buy some random cake from some random person who doesn't give you squats. Challenge your creativity, all right? Now, this is very important, and I got to move faster. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and executives feel like, well, because I do a great job, people should notice me. No, money doesn't always go to the person or business that delivers. I'm sorry, business? How come I didn't spell that right? I'm so sorry. I'm sure people didn't notice, but I noticed this now. Money doesn't always go to the person or business that delivers the most value. It goes to the person or business that is loudest about the value they deliver. The problem with many of you as an entrepreneur or executive is that you're too humble. You're too humble. You don't know how to toot your horn. You feel like, well, the Bible says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. He will exalt you in due time. Have you heard about Jesus? Have you heard that Jesus would say, oh, listen, before Abraham, I am. It was like, listen, break down this temple in 3 days, I'll build it back up. He didn't apologize for excellence. Don't apologize for your excellence. Amplify it. Amplify, don't apologize. Amplify. It's the problem with many of you is that you're apologizing, so you're being humble, you're covering yourself. Well, if they notice me, well, it's God's grace. No, amplify, let people know. Money doesn't always go to the person or business that delivers the most value. It goes to the personal business that's loudest about the value they deliver. I can't remember her name. I hear there was a lady who mentioned that she saw the fact that I had spoken had a TED talk and something like that, and perhaps that was the reason she came for this. And thank you for coming. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for participating in this. Now, I could have gone to that TED event and just been very, very humble, like, Baba God, no. Yeah, if I may never have even posted it, but I posted it. Do you get what I'm saying? I posted it, and trust me, when I went there, I killed those people. Forgive me. I say this with all sense of humility. I killed those people. Like, if you're going to remember anybody in that, there are two people you remember in that TED Talk, and I'm going to be number one with all sense of humility, because I understand that money goes to the business that is loudest about the value they deliver. Next, number 5. Your product is only valuable to the person that says it's valuable. Sometimes we think as entrepreneurs or executives that because I've put my time or efforts into this product or service, it's so valuable to me. But guess what? The customer doesn't care that it's valuable to you. It has to be valuable to the customer. It's the customer that determines the worth of whatever it is you're selling. Right? Give you an example. I don't want to go into too much detail, but the Bible says that when David went to the battlefield and he saw Goliath, right? He saw Goliath, and he asked the question, what's going to be done for the person that kills Goliath? Now imagine if David had put a price on the death of Goliath. If David had put a price on it, let's say Saul said, okay, what do you want? If Saul puts it out there and says, okay, you know what? Whatever you want, I'll give you. Just kill Goliath, and you guys can tell me whatever you want. Whatever you want, I'll pay you. Now, David came from a relatively poor family. He was the youngest in his family. David would probably said, well, I'm hoping that you guys can buy us a new house. Maybe give me a new house. Give me like $1 million. And that's it. Whatever price David or any other soldier would have put on Goliath would have been too small. But because to Saul, killing Goliath was an issue of national security, Saul named his price, and his price was higher than any soldier or David could have put on. Saul said, if you kill this guy, you will marry my daughter. Automatically, you become my son-in-law. Automatically, you become a prince of Israel, which means that you have land, you have titles, people will serve you, right? He says your family will never pay taxes until forever and ever and ever. They will never forget about the IRS, forget about FIRS, forget about whatever IRS it is. You will never pay taxes. So my point is, it is the customer that determines how valuable your service or product is, right? So for example, like you go to the Mona Lisa, which is in the Louvre in Paris, right? The Mona Lisa was created by Leonardo da Vinci. It's perhaps the most recognizable artwork in the world. And this Mona Lisa is valued at $850 million. This is as at 2020. I'm sure it's over $1 billion now. This is the value. Like I said this before, right? I don't think I would pay. I won't even pay $2,000 for the Mona Lisa. Why? Because I don't understand art. I don't appreciate it. Art is not valuable to me. But the person who appreciates art is like, see, forget it. I will pay. Have you ever seen people auction for stuff? And they're bidding. They say, oh, we have this Apple AirPods Max. We're going to start the bidding at $1,000. Then somebody says, can I get $1,100? Somebody raises their hand. Can I get $1,500? Another person raises their hand. Can I get $2,000? Somebody raises their hand. And that's maybe normally this AirPods is $500. So they'll not say, okay, maybe maximum they'll get $2,000 for it. But if I said, for example, let's say, no, let me not use that example. I'll say an iPhone. The iPhone generally is $1,500. We want to sell this random iPhone used by a random person. We're going to start the bidding at $300. Can we get $300, $400, $500, $600? Maybe at the end of the day, they sell it for $1,000 because it's just a regular iPhone. But if I said this iPhone has Elon Musk contact, Barack Obama, Mark Zuckerberg, name the celebrities that you had on this phone. It has the contact list of these individuals. You will call them, they will answer, you have access to these 10 celebrities and billionaires in the world. We're going to start the bidding at $10,000. Do you think people will pay $1,000 for this regular do you think they'll start the bidding at $1,000? No, they'll start from maybe $10,000, $20,000. Why? Because now it's the matter of the fact that the phone has been used by this person and it has these people's contact list, and having access to these guys will change your life forever. You start the bidding at $100,000. This phone will, at the end of the day, probably go up to $1 million. And are they paying for the phone? No, they're paying for what is valuable to them, the contacts. Do you get what I'm saying? So think about it from that perspective. I got to move on. 6. All right. I hope this is making sense. Next, your marketing will offend those that aren't your customers, and it will resonate with those who love you. Your marketing will offend those that aren't your customers, but resonate with those who love you. So I've been accused several times of being very cocky, seemingly arrogant, seemingly promotional and things like that, or not very humble. So like, oh, what's wrong with Steve? He's just so arrogant. He's just so cocky and da 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 da. See, if people talk about me like that, I'm like, see, no stress. You're not my customer, because my sheep hear my voice, and the voice of a stranger they will not obey. The people that love me, they're like, oh, Steve, man, Steve is my guy. I just love the way how Steve just tells it. He's so true, and how he helps people. He doesn't even form. He doesn't, he just does it. He says it. If you can't afford to get out, da 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 da. That's who he is, and I like it like that. The people who love me love me. Those who don't like me, they're losing. Do you get what I'm saying? So your marketing will offend those that aren't your customers, but resonate with those who love you. Right? I wrote here, Manchester United is not trying to recruit Arsenal fans. Right? Man U is not saying, because we've got a football club, we need to increase our supporters base. Well, let's go and get Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans are like, no, we will never come to your club. There's no amount of marketing that Arsenal will do, that Man U will do, that an Arsenal fan will switch jerseys. They're like, no, I will never wear Man U. Like my brother's an Arsenal fan. I'm a United fan. I will never wear an Arsenal jersey. He will never wear a United jersey. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the marketing, Arsenal is about long suffering. And now for the very first time in maybe 14, 15 years, they may win the title. Do you get what I'm saying? So the messaging appeals to your messaging determines your marketing. Are you with me? Your messaging determines your marketing. Gotta move on. I'm almost done. Right, number 7, don't focus on niche marketing. Market to niches. All right, don't focus on niche marketing. Market to niches. Now, what do I mean? A lot of people talk about, niche marketing is focus on one area and be a specialist in that area, which is great. Right? So you say, oh, just be a relationship coach and just be that. Right? If you're a relationship coach, just be a relationship coach and that's it. That's it. But marketing to niches, the only way I can explain this, let me explain it this way. So forgive me if you're not Christian or whatever, just allow me to use this as a case study. So it says that when Jesus goes into the synagogue and he opens the book of Isaiah and he begins to read, he says the kingdom of heaven is recovery of sight to the blind. The kingdom of heaven is freeing those that are incarcerated. The kingdom of heaven is bread to those who are hungry, water to those who are thirsty, so on and so forth. And then he says this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing. Now, what has this got to do with marketing or marketing to niches? It means that Jesus comes in and he says, the kingdom of heaven is this. And people are like, okay, what's the kingdom of heaven? Jesus is like, the kingdom of heaven is for everybody. Like, yeah. But what do I lose? How do I know the kingdom of heaven is for me? He now says, well, the kingdom of heaven is if you're a blind person, you will receive sight. The kingdom of heaven is that if you're hungry, you will be able to eat. The kingdom of heaven is that if you're incarcerated, you will be free. And you will not just be free, you'll be free. The charges will be dropped and they will now pay you for imprisoning you, because the gospel is news that is too good to be true. Now, what has he done? He has taken the message of the kingdom and he has begun to market it to different niches. So he's saying, if you're a tax collector, the kingdom of heaven is this. If you're hungry, the kingdom of heaven is this. Now, understand this. In being able to niche market, he can tell them what they stand to lose. That means if you're blind, you will never be able to see. That's what you lose if you don't come into the kingdom of heaven. If you're blind, you will always remain blind. You will never be able to see. If you're hungry, you will never be fed. You'll continually be hungry. You will never be fed. We'll not just give you food, we'll show you the bakery. I will give you the recipe to make bread forever and ever. So you now know what you stand to lose. So don't focus on just niche marketing. Market to different niches. Look at your products and services and say, how can I help this category, this category, this category, this category? So for example, I'm a business coach. I can just say, oh, I'm just a business coach. I'm just a business coach. I can be a business coach. But guess what? I can go to the real estate market and say, listen, right? What I can help you do as a business coach, what I can help you do is to have more customers who buy many of your assets at premium pricing. That's my kingdom of heaven. That's how I can help you. So I come to the real estate market and I help you sell more houses, get you top 1% clients who can buy your stuff at the prices that you want. Now my value is immediately clear to the real estate market. I can go to hospitals and I can say, oh, as a business coach, the value of my service to you guys is I can always make sure that you guys, you can't pray that the hospital should be, they want it to be filled, but you don't want it to be filled, right? My job is to make sure that you guys deliver the best in class healthcare. You are rated #1 in terms of customer delivery, and everyone has a fantastic service experience that causes that if they have an issue, you are not just the first, you're not just the preferred, you are the only choice of the customer. Now that's me marketing to different niches. Do you get it? I got to move on, right? I can't go into this. I can't go into this. 90% sell a commodity. I can't go into this. 10% sell a necessity. 1% sell an accessory. 1% of the 1% sell an exclusivity. I can't go into this. I got to move on. I can't go into this. I got to move on. Okay, let me just say this. So I said, don't sell the vehicle, sell the destination, right? Just take a screenshot. I can't teach this. Time is not on my side. All right, got to move on. Have you taken the screenshot? Yes. 1, 2, 3, move. Okay, let's go. All right, so the final point, really, this is my last point. Don't sell the vehicle, sell the destination. So I will explain it saying this, all right, since it's the same thing, right? So I said here, when you're thinking about what it is you do, think about it in terms of a formula. So I help X, and X is the client. Do Y, Y is the outcome. So that's Z, and Z is the desired fantasy. So I help X, X is client, do Y, Y is the outcome. So that Z is the desired fantasy. So I said here, don't say I'm a gym instructor. Say, for example, I help you build 6-pack abs so that you can look great shirtless. Now, guess what? What is the outcome, right? The outcome is, so for example, I've been working out and I need to take my gym membership a lot more seriously. But guess what? I want to be able to have 6-packs too. I want to be able to have muscles so that I can, what's my desired fantasy? I want to be able to look great shirtless. I want to be able to take my shirt off and just be walking around the house. So I'll be torturing my wife. Do you get what I'm saying? I want a man to, I want guys to look at me like, man, bro, do you workouts? And I'm like, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, you look great. That's my desired outcome, right? But what many entrepreneurs do is they sell the vehicle. Oh, I'm a gym instructor. Oh, I'm a marketer. Oh, I'm a coach. I don't care that you're a gym instructor. I don't care that you're a coach. I don't care about you. I care about my desired outcome and my desired fantasy. So my destination is to look great shirtless. Or maybe for a woman who's working out in the gym to have an hourglass body. That's her destination, right? So when you say that, listen, what I do is I help you I make sure women have hourglass figures. That's her desired destination. Now, guess what? The moment she hears hourglass figure, as long as that's what's valuable to her, is she going to hire you? Absolutely. But if you say, I'm just a gym instructor, it's like, well, gym is exercise, is working out. I don't know, there's plenty, is why I don't like working out. But if you say to her, let's say her desired fantasy is, you would have please allow me to use the word. I don't know the word. I'm just thinking, you'd have a juicy booty, right? You'd have a really nice bum, or you'd have an hourglass figure. The moment, remember what I said at the beginning, that unless I see myself in what you're selling, I won't buy. The moment she sees that picture of an hourglass figure and it resonates with her as her desired fantasy, she's going to buy it, because what she's now buying is the hourglass figure. So she knows that if she doesn't subscribe to your gym membership, she automatically loses the hourglass figure. Do you guys understand where I'm coming from? And now she knows the value. So any other gym instructor can probably sell their services at, let's say, $100 a month. But the guy who helps her get an hourglass figure can charge $1,000. Do you get what I'm saying? Because now he's no longer selling the vehicle, he's selling the destination. And the destination is much more important than the transportation. Oh, you don't hear me what I'm saying. I need to say it again. The destination is much more important than the transportation, right? So if you're taking an Uber and the Uber breaks down, do you stay with the Uber? No, you ditch the Uber and get another one. Why? Because the destination is much more important than the transportation. The problem is many entrepreneurs, many executives are selling the transportation, not the destination. Do you understand what I'm saying? So an executive, you work in an organization, you're trying to get a better job, or you're trying to get promoted, sell the destination. What's the destination that the organization is trying to go? Show them how you are the one who will help them get there. then automatically they're like, listen, you've clearly understood where we're going. You know what we desire. You have a clear understanding of where we're going. We need you to take us there. As opposed to saying, well, wherever you people are going, I'll follow you. I'll be following me. I don't have anywhere to go. Let me cook my just follow you. Do you get what I'm saying? The destination is much more important than the transportation, right? Enough said. I'm done speaking, preaching, teaching. I hope this has been beneficial to you guys. My bosses, over to you.
Thank you so much, Steve Harris. This has been like super, super amazing. And I've been taking notes. Guys, if you have questions that you would like to ask live, please indicate by raising up your hand so that we can, you can ask it live, or you can type it in the chat box. But I also have questions that I would like to ask Steve. Sorry, I have to wear my glasses. Steve, are you still there? Because we can't see you.
Yes.
Great.
Hello.
Okay. So I have questions. Let me see. Can I also hold on? Okay, good. Okay, so there's a point I really like that you made, and I'm just trying to see how we can bring it back to like for employees, how they can maximize that point. So you said what you sell must be a reflection of who the customer is. So for instance, for an employee, the customer or their customer is their employer. How can an employee maximize this, making sure that what they have to offer is a reflection of what their employer needs?
Okay, so there's a scripture that says, can two walk together unless they agree? And I like to use the example of let's say mentorship. So people say that, oh Steve, your work is very good. I'd like you to mentor me, right? Now, because I'm a mentor, I'm in front of the protege, the person who wants my mentorship, as an example.
Yeah.
I'm seemingly far ahead of that individual. It becomes a distraction for me to go backwards to meet that person, right? The protege expects that, oh, I will slow down for him to catch up, or I will move, I'll stop moving so that he will catch up, or I will stop and come back to where he is so that I'll now carry him to where I'm going. That's not going to. What the protege, or in this case, the employee, needs to do is to say, where is the business going? Where is the mentor going? What are his eyes focused on? I need to be in front of him to see what he's looking at. And so that when I get beside him, I can tell him, I've seen what you're looking at, and I can help you get there. The problem is that many employees don't know where the organization is going. So they're constantly behind, having to be pulled by the organization. And the organization, they're not going to pull you, they'll just let you go because you're dead weight. But when you know when the organization is going, where you know where the mentor is going, where you know where the business is going, and you can see certain things that are in their blind spot, because everybody has a blind spot. You begin to see certain things that are in their blind spot. You say, look, I thought about this. Have you guys ever considered this, that, and the other? When you read the story of Joseph in Egypt and he interprets Pharaoh's dream, you need to understand that Joseph didn't just kukuma say, oh, your dream just means that there'll be 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty. Joseph spoke governmentally. He was able to show Pharaoh that, listen, if Egypt loses economic power, you guys, we could be enslaved. We will lose relevance. We will no longer be the most powerful America in the world. Our military will be debased. Our people, we risk insurrection. There are possible coups, and not just that. We must have a 14-year agricultural policy that allows us to freeze food in a way that it doesn't spoil for 14 years. He comes with economic blueprints. The Bible then says in Psalms 112, I think it was, that Pharaoh, in Psalms 112, the Bible now says that, and Pharaoh discussed with his senators and could not find an answer. So they brought Joseph out of prison. And he says they brought Joseph, the Bible says, to teach his senators wisdom and bind at his pleasure, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying that you must be able to speak the language of the person that, in this case, maybe your boss, What's his language? Maybe as an executive, your own biggest concern is paying salary or getting paid. Your boss, your
Yeah.
immediate manager's job is paying salaries. And he's thinking how, what can we do to increase salaries? And maybe his own superior's job, he's concerned with not just even paying salaries, but increasing market shares. The CEO's
Yeah.
job, just increasing market share, is going global. So everybody has different problems. You're busy thinking of getting paid, getting salary. The person in front of you is thinking about paying salaries. The next person in front
Yeah.
of you thinking about market share. The person in front of that person is thinking about going global. So get in front of the person going global and speak his language. And before you know it, you will hop the person paying salary, hop the person doing market share, and get to the place where because the person is thinking global, you speak globalese. It's like, this person understands my language. Hop him, hop him, hop him, hop him. That's how promotion happens. You don't get promoted for doing your job. You get promoted for doing the job of the people in front of you.
That's it.
I'll say that again. You don't get promoted for doing your job. You get promoted for doing the jobs of the people in front of you, having the results of the person in front of you. So if you're an officer and you want to be a manager, you don't get promoted because you spent 12 years as an officer. You get promoted
Yeah.
because you manage as results while being an officer.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's a good one. It just brings me to, there's something you always say, what got you there is not enough to keep you there, So it means that we should always keep trying to be better and position ourselves. But a lot of employees they always think that because what you mentioned is it's a bit like office politics, kind of finding the person who can position you better and aligning with the person. But people have a huge issue with that. But we dealt with that last year, so we're not going to go back there. But I have more questions. But guys, if you have questions, then don't let me ask all the questions but by myself. If you want to ask those questions live, please indicate by raising up your hands, and we can let you ask the question live. If you want to put it in the chat box, fine, I can read it to him and then he can get to answer. Okay, so I have more questions that I still, want to ask. You said we should be loud about our business, and then you talked about, humility and all of that. What are some of the ways, like some tips for business owners here? And I know that those tips apply to employees, so I'll just say business owners as a general term. What are some of the, tips that you can give us to, position our business or make loud noise about our business, or make our business loud in front of potential clients or customers?
So I believe that every business should not focus on the 99% of customers. I believe you should focus on the 1%. If you focus on the 1% of the customers, the 99% will chase you automatically. So I think a lot of us spend more time marketing to people who can't afford us. You're selling to people who you are an aspiration to, and which is great. They can't afford you. Now, the 1% are not meant to be chased. They're meant to be attracted, right? They're not meant to be chased, meant to be attracted. I think many entrepreneurs have a chasing mentality. So we're chasing our customers to buy, chasing our customers to do business. You're meant to attract them. The rich must be attracted. The poor chase, right? Now, if you're speaking to the rich, is a totally different language. The rich, for example, don't use words like discounts. They don't use words like play small. They don't use words like payment plan. They don't use words like installments. They use words like rare. They use words like exclusive. They use words like limited. They use words like, do you get what I'm saying? Premium. That's the language they understand, right? Now, where it comes to promoting yourself and being loud, it depends on how you want to be positioned, right?
Okay.
Positioning determines perception. Perception determines pricing. Yeah, I'll say this again. Positioning determines perception, and perception determines pricing, right? So I'll give you an example. I've been a management consultant for going on 20 years. I think next year will be 20 years. I've been a coach since 2011, which is now 13 years. And with all sense of humility and modesty, I had succeeded greatly in Nigeria as a coach, as a consultant, and I dare say I was in the top 1% of my industry in my field. But then I realized that because I was in the Nigerian market, I was becoming commoditized. And that meant because there was always somebody who was cheaper. So if I charge 10 million for something, another consultant who needs a breakthrough will charge 1 million. And because the clients don't really care, the Nigerian market per se doesn't really care in terms of return of it on investment. They don't really measure ROI. They measure KPI. So for example, they're not going to measure, oh, who was the best consultant. They're going to say, did we train 1,000 people? Yes. Did we train, were we able to get it at the cheapest price possible? Yes. So there was always somebody cheaper who could do it. So I recognized that, okay, I need to reposition. That even though I'm doing well, I need to reposition. So I took the plunge to move my business, move my family to the United States, not because I wanted Japa. I had nothing I was running away from. I was doing very well, but I needed to reposition globally. Now, the moment I repositioned globally and I started having more global opportunities. So, for example, I was invited to speak at a tech company's marketing events where they had over 3,000 people, and I was one of the keynote speakers. And the moment that the Nigerian market, let me put it that way, saw me on a global platform as a keynote speaker, my positioning changed, their perception of me changed, and their pricing for me changed. So it was very interesting that I got that because I did that thing. An oil and gas company reached out to me and asked me to come and facilitate a one-day retreat. And I'll just say the number just because of price. I'll just give an example. They paid me $10,000 to speak for one day. Now, normally in Nigeria, I would not get away with that price and they won't pay me that kind of money. Do you get what I'm saying? But because I had repositioned globally, they had perceived me differently. And now I would say to them, you know what, I don't get paid in Naira. Even though I'm Nigerian, you have to pay me in dollars because I live in America. Pricing has changed. Now, am I saying that, oh, everybody has to move out of the country? Absolutely not. I'm saying position yourself among the 1%. Seen with the 1%, talk about what you're doing with the 1%, and automatically the 99% will chase you by themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like being seen with, if you saw me now with, if I had meetings consistently with, let's say, Barack Obama, and I was having meetings with Donald Trump, and I was in strategy sessions with, let's say Donald Trump, Obama, or Biden, you just saw me in meetings, picture with them. My price will go up automatically. Like, please, we know we can't afford you. We saw Obama, we saw you with this. Please manage this. And you by yourself will tell me the price of the value that you have now perceived me on. That's how it works. So if you reach out to the 1%, spend time with the 1%, amplify, make noise about how you're doing amazing things with the 1%, the 99% will chase you by themselves.
Yeah, but just start. Like when you're starting, you don't have access to the 1% yet, but you have to make that noise like, okay, you're doing something. Does that mean, are you saying that everything we do, we should put it in front of potential clients or customers so that they actually see that we're working this thing? Is that what you're saying in general?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you want to get to the top, who says you have to start from the bottom? I think everybody thinks that they have to start the bottom and pay their dues. No, you can decide where you want to start. You can decide where you want to start. David has no business in the conversation of David and Goliath. David has no business in that conversation. He's only in that conversation because he stepped up to something that was bigger than him, and then he won. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get, ideally, that story should be called Saul and Goliath, not David and Goliath. But because he stepped up against a competitor that was not his size, and he was able to prevail and position himself as bigger than. So by David going up against Goliath, he automatically showed that he was bigger than Saul, because Saul was a giant too. The Bible describes Saul as head and shoulders above everybody in Israel. Saul himself was a giant, but a giant Saul could not go against the giant Goliath. And David, who was shorter than Goliath, the Saul, goes and picks up against Goliath, which automatically shows that he's bigger than the giant Saul. That's why when he wins, the women now begin to say, Saul has killed his thousands, David has killed tens of thousands. How many people David killed? One. Positioning, perception.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm too good, though. I'm too good. You guys can't afford me. You guys just be saving your money. Reach out to me.
Oh God, please calm down. But thank you for doing this work. So it seems that people are not asking questions, but I'll still go ahead. I still have a few questions, but I'll ask one more. And then if we don't have any other questions, I'll let you go because I know that you have a full day today. But so you said we should to
Okay.
paraphrase, that we should create service or products that are valuable to our customers. Yeah. So how do we know if they're not telling us? I'm saying this from the perspective of one, maybe someone who's still struggling, someone who's still trying. How do we know that these products or these services are valuable to the customer if we don't have them telling us yet?
So you have to create a customer avatar. And a
Okay.
customer avatar is a framework of your desired customer.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm a fashion designer and I cater to plus size women, as an example. I want to serve plus size women. I need to be clear about who this plus size woman is. So when I teach this, I say, okay, become the customer. So become the customer. So for example,
Okay.
some people would say, oh, the customer's name is Rachel. She's 37 years old. She has 2 children. That's not a good customer avatar because that speaks logically. It doesn't speak emotionally. So speaking emotionally, if I was the designer who wanted to reach a plus size woman, who wants to buy my dresses, I would say something like, I would become the customer. So I would say, hi, my name is Rachel, and this is me writing it down because I want to know exactly who I'm selling. Because the Bible says, "My sheep hear my voice; the voice of a stranger they will not obey." So I need to know who this sheep is. So I write it down and say, "Hi, my name is Jane." No, no, not Jane. Jane is here. My name is Rachel. I'm 37 years old. I've been married for 15 years. I've got 3 kids: Joseph, Jacob, and Isaac. Before I got married, I was a size 8. I had a killer body. Everybody used to talk about how my body was banging. I mean, I would fit into dresses, and I just loved my stature, and everybody used to just love my stature. The moment I had my first son, Joseph, I moved from a size 8 to a size 12. I still had curves. People liked my new body. I kind of liked it too, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit heavy. But my husband liked the fact that, oh, I had more meat on my bones, like he said, and he just enjoyed me. So I didn't really mind. But the moment I had my second son, Joseph, I moved from a size 12 to a size 16. Now, all of it, my confidence just got shot. I started seeing cellulite. I started seeing my love handles. I didn't like how I looked in the mirror. I began to get embarrassed. My husband said he didn't mind, but I just felt like I was no longer the girl who was getting this attention when she was a size 8. And then I now had my third son, Benjamin, and I went from a size 16 to a size 22. And I hate my body. I really hate how I look. It's so bad now that when my husband and I make love, I have to tell him to turn off the lights because I don't want him to see me like this. I'm always walking around booze. I'm always walking around in long dresses, but I'm just so not confident anymore. Every time I go to the store, I always see that, they don't have things for women my size. All the dresses that are in size 22s, they're just ugly, frumpy, and the fact that I'm big doesn't mean I've lost my style. I'm still stylish. I still love colors, but I can't seem to find what fits me very well. Every time I walk out, people notice me by my size. They don't even notice me by my style. I'm looking for a designer who just understands how to help, who understands how to just make, plus size women still look pretty, right? So that they can hide my curves and my edges, but they can just show my style. So people don't notice me by my size. They notice me by my style. Can you
Yeah.
help? Now, the
Oh,
moment
wow.
you put that down, that's your marketing message. So when you go on social media and you're talking as a designer who does stuff for plus size ladies, because
Yeah.
you are her, you understand her. So you're now writing and you're saying things like, listen, look, I know that as a plus size lady, you just sometimes don't like your body. You're constantly covering yourself, but you still have a great
Wow.
style game, right? You know what? I can help you with that. Or you know what? Maybe you started up as a size 8 and now you're a size 16 or you're a size 18 or you're a size 22. And you don't like to go out anymore because every time you go out, people always ask you if you're pregnant and it just annoys you so much. Now we've got stuff that are form covering, but style showing, that can help you, da 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 da. Now, guess what's going to happen? Every plus size woman who hears that marketing will be like, how did you know? How did you know?
True. Makes sense.
Now your
Makes
sheep
sense.
has a voice, and the
Yeah.
voice of a stranger they will not obey. So that's
Wow.
what you want to do. So I hope that helps.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I know we're rushing, but we have someone's hands up. So I'm just going to let her ask her question or his question. Go ahead, Larry.
Okay, good evening, ma'am. I posted a question in the chat, ma'am. Please, can you?
Okay, let me see your question. Okay, you said as a car tracker installation engineer, I want to serve logistics niches and other type of niches with my services, but I don't know where they hang out or the methodology to reach out to them. What do you think I could do about this?
Okay. Hi, Larry. So that's a great question. So the first question is, who are you targeting? Right?
Yeah.
There are several niches you can work with. Car companies, Coscharis, number one. Dealers, their car dealerships. I don't know where an example. Let's say you're in Nigeria, there are car dealerships that you can go to that you can offer car tracker services, right? Beyond car dealerships, beyond car companies like Coscharis, Kia, and all those other guys, they're car dealerships. Beyond car dealerships, there are companies that have fleets, right? There are companies that have fleets. They have a fleet management system. You need to be reaching out to organizations that have fleets. So like Mobil, Shell, all those guys that have fleet management systems. You need to be able to be reaching out to those guys. That's a niche. Beyond just that, then there's the lowest niche, which are individuals who have their own cars and they're looking for, they have drivers, they have their cars, and they don't know where their driver has gone half the time. They need to be able to track them. Now, the problem with this is that I believe that perhaps maybe you, but many people in your industry start from the lowest, which is, oh, let me be serving individuals who have cars so that there's a car tracking system. And beyond, now, again, don't forget, I said, don't sell the transportation, sell the destination.
Yeah.
Now, the message for each niche is different. Do you get, like the way Jesus says to the blind is sight if you tell a blind man that he will get food, that's not what's doing him. If you tell a hungry man that he will see, that's not what's doing him. So the message is different. So for example, to the individual who, let's say the husband and the wife who have maybe two cars, car tracking is not the message. They're not caring about car tracking. The messaging for them is safety. The messaging for them is security. The messaging for them where their loved ones are so that they never get they always know where their loved ones are and they can keep tabs on them so that, God forbid, if they're being kidnapped, they know exactly where their last location is. If the car was stolen, they know where the last location is. So the message is not the technicalities of car tracking. The messaging is safety and security for your loved ones. Do you get what I'm saying? That's very important for an organization. Let's say has fleet management software, they need to be able to understand the depreciation value of their vehicles so that, by knowing where your vehicle is and by considering where your vehicle is plying, if your vehicle is going from the mainland to the island every day and you're going through Ebute Metta and you're going through hypothetically some of the really bad areas that have really bad roads, this is the depreciation value of your vehicle every month. So beyond just saying, oh, we know where your car is, you're saying, look, by virtue of the roads and the routes that your car is taking, this is where you as an individual, Larry, has to elevate your conversation. So you can't just be saying, oh, car tracking, know where your car is. They don't care about that. At this level now, you're now a fleet management advisor. You're no longer a car tracker. You're now a fleet management advisor. And the language of fleet management advisory is depreciation of their assets, is being able to know the run rates and the value of the time of your driver. So we've noticed that by tracking your vehicle, we've noticed that your driver always goes through this route and this route. And by going through this route, he is spending 22% of time on the road. And by spending 22% of time on the road, he's burning hypothetically 15% of his fuel. 15% of his fuel on a month if you spend hypothetically 70,000 naira a week in filling your car, as an example, every week by applying this route, your driver is costing you an extra 25,000 naira just by going through this route every week. We therefore propose that based on our fleet management analysis and diagnosis, that rather than him going through this route, he should go through this route, therefore saving 25. Do you get what I'm saying? That's now the language of the person in the fleet management division. It's no longer car tracking. Do you get what I'm saying? So that gives them an idea. You can come and send me a message. Let's have a consultation. I'll tell you what to do.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
So that's what it is.
Thank you so much, Dave. Larry, I hope he answered your question, but if you need further consultation, you can send us a message, send him a DM, and we can schedule that consultation. We have Chidima has a question. So Chidima, can you please ask your question now?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. I mean, the thing that I stumbled on this thing by accident, and all the value I've gotten from it today is just mind blowing. So thank you very much, Coach Steve Harris. I I mean, when you've been talking, because I'm also in a position where I get to talk to people around career choices majorly. So that's the area I focused in. But when you started talking
Enjoyment
about
specialists.
I think that's Larry. Can we mute? I think. Yeah, that's Larry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So when we started talking about, niche marketing and marketing to niches, then it rang a bell because it seems I've been doing a lot of niche marketing, bit of marketing to niches, and it seems to have been limiting me. So thank you very much. I'm going to try and look at, sorry, that's my baby.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
Chrissy. So I'm going to try and look at how I can work around that. I'm still in my head trying because my focus is majorly on people. Yeah. My focus is on people who are trying to make career transitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Helping them. What do you want? Okay, go downstairs. Daddy's downstairs. Go and tell him, okay? Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
So I focus majorly on trying to help people make the best decisions when it comes to their career path. And while I've been getting a couple of results, but it's not as much as I'd expected it would be now. So I think I'll begin to wrap my head around how I can repackage that. But the question is about the positioning you talked about. And that's something I've been working on a lot because a couple of people who know me personally feel that I'm not valuing myself enough. And when you talked about positioning and perspective, then I think that's where the problem is. I haven't positioned myself enough where my value can be seen. So my question is, how do I get about it? First, I got in contact with you because of the TEDx thing. I've been looking out for a way to, get onto a TEDx talk, and I've not been able to because I know that's a good platform that, could launch you out. And when you start talking about things, it gives you more credibility. So how do you rise from, nowhere?
Right. Okay, so let me answer your question first regarding the career transition. So you could be very passionately serving the wrong markets, and I kind of feel like you are. And what I mean by that is you're serving. Now, don't forget that there's a hierarchy. So you can be serving officers to get jobs in different career levels. So a regular random executive who's working in an organization, you help them get better jobs. But the challenge with that is that the people at the lowest level have the least amounts of money, but they will stress you the most, right? So the average officer who doesn't have enough money, he would like to have another job, but will he pay for, you'll say, oh, you need to, let's say, for example, you may say, oh, we need to rework your resume. So let's do resume writing services for you as an example, and you charge for that. But the person's like, well, me, I don't have money for a resume, but he wants a better job. He doesn't have money for resume writing. He doesn't have money for career coaching and some of the services you offer. So you may be passionately serving the wrong market. So for example, you talked about career transition. Career transition is not limited to helping let's say lower level staff get higher paying jobs. It could also be, for example, depending on who you want to serve. That's why I said if you serve the 99%, you'll be wasting your time. Serve the 1%. There are, for example, there are executive management, there are senior managers, for example, that want to be headhunted. That is a significant career transition. There are senior managers that need to be headhunted. Those guys, because they're senior management, they already understand the value proposition that you're offering, right? There are senior managers who want to be put on executive boards. That is career transition. Do you get what I'm saying? There are people who've worked 20, 25 years in an industry and they're not on any board. They're thinking, okay, how do I get on this international board? How do I get on this local board? Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's positioning, right? But if you're serving, for example, the random Joe who is a banking officer, or the person has worked 5 years in an organization and is complaining about promotion, those guys don't have money. You have passion for that. What you have passion for is career transition. You may not necessarily have passion for helping broke people get higher paying jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you position higher to say, listen, my position is I help you get headhunted. If you feel like if you're a top level executive and you want to be headhunted to become there, for example, there are senior managers that want to become CEOs. They need to be headhunted because there are organizations that are looking for CEOs or executive directors. There are CEOs that want to be board members. So if you say I'm serving the 1%, senior manager and above, anybody lower, don't come near me. Do you get what I mean? If you serve that 1% demographic by yourself, you will notice that these 99%, because you helped, let's say you helped my wife. My wife is an executive, senior manager, CEO, and you helped her because she now says, oh, I'm very proud to say that I've been put on the board of so organization and da. Everybody's going to come and meet her because she's influential. Say, babe, how did you do it? She's not going to tell them, go and meet this person. This is the person that helped me do it, right? But the person at the bottom line, that person is not going to tell that you did it. The person's now God was Pastor Jerry. I was joining NSPPD and he prayed what God cannot do does not exist and fantastic things. And that testimony is going to go there, right? Because that person doesn't want to share their glory with anyone. Do you get where I'm coming from? So my point is you're serving the wrong demographic. You're serving broke people. Stop serving broke people. They can't pay you. Simple.
Okay.
Elevate higher. Go to the 1% that can afford you. Serve those guys.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah. And then about the elevation now, how do I go from there? How do I go from the broke people to the high people?
Same thing I just told you. Same thing I told you.
I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of sorry.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you need like special consultation with Steve Harris. And that way he's able to look at what you're currently doing and map out something strategic for you, some sort of like hand holding so that he can take you through, because I do feel like it's more than just, the simple answer or the short answer that he will try to give now. Am I right? I think
that's fine. I'm happy to reach out to him.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Great.
Just go to my Instagram, click the link in my bio, schedule a pick my brain session, right? I'm offering 20 people an opportunity to spend 1 hour with each of them, one-on-one, to pick my brain. It's not free, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. So just click the link in my bio. We can have that conversation.
Yeah, great.
Okay,
so
what's your handle then?
His Instagram handle is at I am Steve Harris. I am Steve Harris.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Chidima. Okay, so we have the last and final question for today from Jane. Jane, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. Good morning, coach. I'm sorry I'm on the road, but I need to
Hi, Jane.
Hi. Quick question for Coach Steve. Do you have any suggestions or the best of them? There's quite a bit of them. I get kind of overwhelming. What's the good website or help for writing ebooks?
For writing ebooks, you can chat GPT it, really. You can chat GPT it, to be honest. You just need to know the right prompts for that.
Okay.
You just need to know the right prompts. I'm thinking I need to check my database because I think I have something. So since you know me personally, you can message me later. I'll find the prompts to you. You can send it. I'll find the prompt, send it to you, and you can use that to write an ebook. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And coach, check your WhatsApp later after this. I sent you a message.
I hope there's money in the message.
It's a money-making opportunity, yes.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Oh my.
I love you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, so we have Mary Chinda, do you want to ask a question? You have 2 seconds to go.
I don't want to ask a question. I just want to say thank you to Jenny. I'm from Ifemi. She
Oh.
reminded me, yeah, Merichinda.
Hey,
She
Mary.
reminded me that coach was having an online event, so I just had to attend. Thank you so much to Mr. and Mrs. Harris.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mary.
Mary. I appreciate you for joining us. So thank you, Steve Harris. We appreciate you guys. Steve Harris's handle is at I am Steve Harris on I am Steve Harris on Instagram and Steve Harris on LinkedIn. He's also at I am Steve Harris on Facebook and I think Twitter. So you guys can follow him on and ask him questions. Also, if you want like a personalized session, you can join his Ask Steve or Pick My Brain session and he can take out the time to really, dig deeper and answer your questions. But thank you so much, guys, for spending your Saturday with us. And remember, at Education, we handle trainings, coaching, team building sessions. You can reach out to us on our website, even to Steve Harris or any one of us. And also, if you have clients or friends who would like those services, please feel free to partner with us. We have a link here, the partnership session, and we also have a link to Steve Harris's Pick My Brain here, so you can click the link and register to connect with him and to connect with us as a partner. So thank you so much again for being here, for spending your wonderful Saturday with us. We'll definitely keep you posted on the next date for our next webinar series, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing as this one was. And we're also going to have a very, very amazing speaker or guest speaker on that one. So thank you, guys. We're just going to round off now, but of course, give you a few minutes to decide to click on the link as to partner with us or to click on the link to be on Steve Harris's Pick My Brain. So guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We appreciate you. And thank you again, Steve Harris. And thank you again, guys, for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Take care, guys. Bye.